Welcome to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Nedling. You are about to discover impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you, so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Be sure you visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now tune in, get ready, and enjoy the journey of emerging as a leader of exception in the 21st century.
Welcome, everyone, to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast. I'm your host, Vicki Nedling, coming to you from Roswell, Georgia. The goal of this podcast is to bring topics and guests that will help you grow as a business leader and take your business to the next level. I'm excited to have Kim Lebbing as my guest tonight. And let me tell you a little bit about Kim. So for nearly a decade, Kim has been studying transformation with over 796 hours of training, 5 expert certifications, and 14 top-level training in neuro-linguistic-based transformational coaching from 3 different programs over the last 8 years. She knows her stuff. This means that Kim has studied and intuitively extracted the best elements to create her own proven process so that you can experience true alignment with your goals at the soul level. Our theme is going to be transforming your life through subconscious awareness. Please join me in welcoming Kim Lebbing. Well, Kim, I was like, oh my goodness, the teacher is in the classroom today. Awesome. Such an impressive background. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, it's going to be great. We always start with an easy question, even for you, because we would like to know, where do you call home? Where do you live?
Oh, I live in St. Louis, Missouri. And I've been in Missouri my whole life, not in St. Louis. I actually grew up in a small town south of here. But yeah, I've been here forever.
Well, that's very good. So anybody that wants a tour of Missouri will have to just contact Kim. So let's just get right into the meat of this, which is, please tell us more about subconscious limitations. What in the heck are we talking about here?
Sure. So, like whenever you are trying, so I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, and whenever you've got your own business and you're trying to do something, you're trying to make things happen, but things keep getting in the way, or there's behaviors that you want to do and you're not doing them. Those are the subconscious limitations. I usually reference back here. I don't know if people will be seeing this, but it's the hidden things. It's the hidden things that you don't see that might be keeping or holding you back.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we're not aware of them until we know that something's not working. And we've done all the things and something still isn't working right. And things just feel off. That's a common thing I hear, is things are just they're just feeling off.
Do they often say feel stuck too? Or?
Yes. Yeah. Stuck is another word that I hear a lot. And I can, relate to that. I've gone through it myself. I think everyone does at some point, right?
I think so too. Unless you're 5, and then you might still have. But yeah, I think every time we push ourselves outside of our comfort zone, something is going to get us stuck. Something is going to make us question whether or not we're enough or can do something.
Right.
So what is the most common subconscious limitations that you see in we entrepreneurs out here?
So there's a few, and I can go into them a little bit. Probably the most common one I see is people pleasing.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big one.
I don't know any mom that doesn't have that. I'm sorry.
You're right. we all do it, but I see it in men too. So I see it in men just as often as I see women. I think women, it's probably more obvious. But the way it shows up in entrepreneurs is their schedules overwhelmingly, like they're scheduled out. Their appointments oftentimes go over. So because they're not able to tell like they don't want to hurt their feelings. They don't want to be like, so times go over. And as a result, their goals end up getting put on the back burner. They feel frustrated. They feel overwhelmed. And they're not getting they're not getting the traction that they want because they're adding all of these other things in because they don't want to say no. And they don't want to say no because a lot of times it goes back to guilt. It goes back to something that happened a long, long time ago. Subconsciously, our subconscious is formed before the age of 7. So that's when that's when we decide whether or not we're going to people please. So it's been there for a really, really long time.
So one of the things when I first started working, one of what I noticed is I worked for an accounting firm and I was administrative, but the pool of staff accountants all were trying to make partner, right? And the managing partner was a very interesting character, had his certain ways that he did things. And you just watched as the staff accountants, when they came in one way, and after a few months, they drank the same drink as him. It was like they couldn't be individual anymore. They felt that they had to be like the managing partner. So the managing partner would make them partner, not understanding that perhaps that their uniqueness might have them stand out.
Right. Yeah, that's a big piece too. That's actually a hot button for me because of that. Trying to follow somebody else to the point that you lose yourself.
Yeah.
And you're not in alignment anymore, then things don't work as well. That's something I see too. And that's something that I've also experienced.
And I think that's something that all folks, even if you're not an entrepreneur, but if you're in a company and it's so easy to forget to be yourself, to, that you do tend to try to lose your individuality. And, when you try to hire people, you should try to find people that are comfortable in their own skin, right? And that want more too, that they are not just trying for that one job, because you need people that will grow with a company, right?
Right. Makes good leadership.
So what does it mean to be subconsciously out of alignment with your goals and with life, really?
Yeah. So that was a perfect leading question because you're already going there with when you're out of alignment, you're doing things, it almost feels forced. So, and whether you're a professional or an entrepreneur, or a business owner, or like you said, just life, when you're not doing things out of alignment, you feel like you are pushing a boulder up a hill. Like everything feels harder than what it needs to be. And just because, to your point of that company you talked about, just because they're doing it this way, or whatever way they're drinking coffee and dressing like that guy, doesn't mean that that's for you, because it may not be in alignment for you. And what'll happen if you keep going in that way, you're going to experience burnout because it's not you. So what it really means is like subconsciously you have to accept what's right for you. And there could be blocks. So there's that. There could be blocks that are keeping you from doing that. I love to use the example of going to the gym in January because everybody wants to go, get healthy, lose weight, and all the things. And then 3 weeks later, the parking lot's, empty and
Very
so
true.
right. And it's because they are not in alignment with that goal.
Yeah.
They may be in alignment with what their alignment might be is staying home and being in bed.
That really is so true. And again, I spent more years in corporate than have been doing this, but you take all of those lessons learned. And I know that when I tried to motivate my team on a goal, a mission or whatnot, I tried to get them to do in their particular job more than they were currently doing. You had to find a way for them to see how their little piece was important to the whole mission, to the whole company, that if they didn't do their job, we couldn't get to where we needed to go. And once you had ownership of it, then I think, that somewhat plays with your subconscious, like, oh, that's my reward or something.
Right. Yeah.
So then they would do more, right? So talk to me a little bit about how your subconscious can be a motivator for you as well as a detractor.
Oh, definitely. So and you can program it this way. I mean, if you are going back to the gym, I'll tell you my own story.
Okay.
So I'm going to throw one of my parents under the bus here a little bit.
Yeah,
okay.
We all do.
but my mom used to say so neither one of my parents worked out growing up. My dad was a farmer. He didn't have to. So he was always fit because
he was working out.
He was working. Right. And my mom, honestly, the small town we grew up in, there were no gyms like that didn't even exist. But when she got older, she used to say when I was little, that she was allergic to exercise. And I remember hearing that. And that's part of my programming now. So guess what? I don't like going to the gym. It's not a surprise, but it was part of my programming. So subconsciously, like that's something that would need to change if I wanted it to. I found other ways around that. I do exercise. I do exercise, but I just don't go to the gym. But I would have to find a way to reprogram that, to literally change that, because that's a belief that I have from way back when, that I would need to switch that around. So for employees and in leadership situations, they would need to find what that is and really dig in. So depending on what it is, I mean, a gym is an easy example, but maybe, if it's making sales calls or, something else, and there's something that's stopping them, maybe there's a fear of letting other people down. There's always these things that are bigger than what the way they present themselves.
Oh, sure. So in a situation where for entrepreneurs, we constantly have to reach out and act on the leads that we get. We get leads, but you can't just let them sit in a jar.
Right.
And so, what happened way back when, that your subconscious is remembering that rejection or that negative comment that was made. Sometimes if we talk about our family, sometimes our family are the worst ones to motivate us, because they're, I think in their minds, trying to protect you because they're not comfortable. They don't know anything about being an entrepreneur. So
absolutely.
So that negativity then is in the back of your mind, like that you really can't do this. You're just fooling yourself.
Yeah, totally. And I do want to say, just for the sake of my mom, she's also motivated me. Ended up with a very successful career.
No,
So,
very good.
she's also a motivator for me as well. So you have those positive parts.
Mm-hmm.
I think what's key is when you're digging into what behavior is keeping you from doing what you need to do and your team and your business. You really want to dig into what is it first?
Yeah.
Is it showing up in other areas? Because if it is, then it's very likely a subconscious program that's been playing a really long time. And if it is showing up in other areas, then you're going to have to dig into, okay, what might be the cause of this? Like, where could be the first time that this occurred? And then you can backtrack and start asking yourself those questions to go a little deeper so that you can dig into how to shift that.
So is that something that's easily done by yourself, or having someone like you as a coach to kind of peel that onion? Because sometimes we peel a little of the onion, but we don't go that deep. And as you said, the stuff that's keeping us stuck may be way down towards the core.
It is. And I will say this. Can you work on yourself? Absolutely. I mean, sure. You can pull out a journal and you can peel back those layers. It takes a lot of diligence to do that. However, having a coach or someone that can guide you through it, you're going to get there faster.
Right.
And they're probably going to see things that you didn't.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I still do this. I mean, I'm so dedicated to this work, and I'm always finding, like, there's always something else.
Yeah.
There's always something that I didn't see before that's there that I'm like, wow, I didn't know that was there. And then and then I think, oh gosh, I already worked through this again. And it's not that I didn't, it's just that it's not like we're broken and we just fix ourselves.
Right.
It's a journey and there's other layers to it. And it's just something that if you're really striving to build something big or to have a big team or to have a big business, it's something that that's what separates the people that are successful, the ones that are successful and the ones that aren't.
Wow.
Is they continue to work on themselves.
So we are talking about layers. So what are some deeper layers behind the people pleasers of the world? And I think it's not only people pleasers in I want you to like me, but doing something, as you were talking about from a business perspective, doing something that you in your gut knows is not right. Like I had male mentors almost all my life until I was 50. And then after going to college, I figured, oh, I got a 4.0. I must know what I'm talking about. So I started to lead from my gut, and the people pleasing was less because I was trusting myself more. So talk a little bit more about that.
Oh, I just love what you just said, because that's so huge in being in alignment with your goals, and everything is the trusting yourself part of it. It's a game changer. I have a story for that, but I want to answer your question about the deeper reasons behind people pleasing and different things. I mean, sometimes it's people that want to scale their business, and there's a deeper reason why they're not able to hire the employees that they need or, get bigger. So with people pleasing, I see not always, but most of the time it's related to guilt. And that's the deeper reason behind it. And there's sometimes a need to be accepted, or I need like a self-love sort of thing. I mean, it goes deep. The words that people describe when they're really getting into what's that core reason behind it. it's individual. So it's not just one thing, but the ultimate emotion behind it that's driving the behavior is guilt. And guilt, we see, I mean, I know in my family line, like it goes on for generations and generations. So it's modeled to us. We pass it down. And it can really, it affects relationships. So your personal relationships, your relationship with your family, your kids, like all of that, and work as well. It can really, some of the worst cases I've seen, where people were ready to lose their jobs because they were saying yes to things that weren't their jobs. And their boss was like, you got to get this stuff done. You got to stop this. And it goes back to guilt.
Yeah. So tell me your story.
Okay. So you mentioned the trusting yourself part. So a very somewhat recent story I have was really goes along with what we initially talked about. And that's I was following somebody else's recipe for success. I had a great business coach. She was amazing. And I started doing like all the things that were recommended, all of it. And I was doing it to a T, everything to a T. For the amount of effort and energy that I was putting in, I should have been getting much bigger results than I was.
But it wasn't you.
It wasn't working. And it goes back to that, alignment. And I wasn't in alignment with what the strategies were. There's more than one way to build a business. There are lots of ways to build a business. And so when I decided I wasn't going to keep putting energy in that. So I literally stopped everything I was doing and decided I was just going to trust myself and show up where I felt like I wanted to be.
Yeah.
And when I did that, like in 1 month, I like quadrupled everything I had done. It was really amazing. And it was a huge testament of that, really believing that you are in alignment with whatever it is you're doing. And the next step is really slowing down enough so that you can trust yourself.
Yeah, that slow down part's where it gets hard.
Yes. Yeah, that's a challenge in itself. But if you can do that and learn that trusting yourself, it's huge. It's so huge.
And the people don't realize all the time that to go fast, you have to slow down, I really think, because the slowing down lets your brain catch up and the creativity to come back and the innovation to come back. When you're going, you don't have time for that. And that's where your business stops to grow, I think. You stop dreaming about things. You're just worried about putting out fires or whatnot.
Right.
And so I truly do believe sometimes you have to slow down to go fast.
Yeah. Yeah. We get in I think our society is so much it's a male energy thing. I don't know if you or if that's a word, if you understand what I mean by that, but there's so much doing, like, and I don't mean, I was in male energy with doing. And the female energy is more the creative part. And if you never slow down, you never see that part. And that's the part, we need both.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need a good balance of both.
That's the word, the balance.
Yes.
All right. The final question before we do rapid fire is what, if you could just tell me some more about questions that you should ask yourself, and how to direct your subconscious mind. So, you said that we could do some of this on our own. So what
Yeah.
are your Chat GPT prompts that we should give ourselves?
I love it. So questions that we ask ourselves questions all the time. Usually we're asking questions that prompt our brain to go into a negative space. Like, why didn't I get that deal? Why didn't I reach my goals last month? And we're asking why, which triggers, it triggers all the negatives.
You did not, you should have.
Right. Yeah, exactly. If we can rephrase some of those things into what or how. So what can I do to reach my goals today? How can I, how can I be more focused today? What are the 3 most important things I can do that'll move me closer to my goals? So those are the types of questions that will help redirect your mind in a more positive way. And it gets those creative juices going as well, because you don't have to sit and answer it. Your subconscious mind will do it and help you. Yeah, you'll start to look for it.
Yeah, I can definitely see that in myself. Sometimes, as we were talking about quieting, sometimes I solve the best problems as I'm in, getting ready to sleep.
Yes, that's the best time to do it.
Yeah, because my mind is no longer racing, and then it's like, oh, that would have worked. Dang, I'll have to try that tomorrow. And I think a lot of times people try to force themselves to sleep and not think about anything, but sometimes, if you kind of gently get into sleep, you can get some of the best ideas ever.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
All right, it's time for rapid fire. So this just 3 questions you can answer easily. It's just, I'm not going to give you all day to answer them.
Okay. I'm ready.
Not that you actually, do that too much anyway, with no long drawn out answers to questions. So how does shifting your energy affect your sales and your bottom line?
Shifting your energy, you can literally shift your energy by your posture, by your breathing, because and going into a sales call, it can make all the difference, because when you show up in a good energy, instead of, oh no, I haven't made any sales today, and now I'm going to try and make one more. It's not going to happen.
Just as you said that, I was thinking of Peanuts, which I'm sure some kids don't know what we're talking about, but the character with the rain over.
Yes.
or Eeyore.
Yes. But Eeyore, I mean, they're hunched over. Literally paying attention to your posture before you pick up the phone or before you knock on a door can make a difference, because it activates neurons in your brain so that you sit up straight and tall before you answer that phone, and ask yourself a good question before you call as well. But yes, it can make a huge difference on sales.
I always coach people from a speaking perspective to make sure you're smiling as you're talking.
Yes.
Because that smile gets absolutely transferred in how you say things.
Yes, absolutely.
Can your personal relationships and business really be separate?
No, it's the short answer. It's funny because we have, separate bank accounts, you go to a separate building or an office and all of that. But 100% of the time when I'm working with people and they want more sales, they want to increase their income, it's something personal. It's something personal. It's something personal from the past, or, maybe honestly, even a divorce. It usually goes further back than that. A lot of people will say, oh, I went through a divorce and I haven't been the same since, but it's really something from way before then.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
How does someone know if they're fully fulfilling their purpose.
That
Mm,
goes back to alignment.
mm. It goes back to our onion.
It does. It goes back to that
Mm.
alignments, because whenever you're fulfilling your purpose, then your business, your life is going to feel easy and it's going to feel light. Everything's going to feel fun. Not,
Yeah.
of course you're going to have, everybody has obstacles and things that they have to go through, but for the most part, it's not going to feel like drudgery.
Mhm.
It's going to feel light.
Yeah, even whenever you kind of evolve as you grow in business and you push yourself, you've succeeded in one thing and you're grow to the next challenge. That challenge, if it's looked at as fun and exciting and okay, that I'm going to screw this up, but gosh, I'm going to learn some new things as I screw
Right.
things up, and take it that way, then it's not so, oh God, I got this new project I have to do and it's terrible. And so mindset
Yeah,
is huge, I think.
it is. It's 90%. That's what I tell people. It really is. It's 90%. You can learn, you can have all the best strategies,
Yeah.
but if your mindset isn't in the right place, it's not going to matter. You're not going to do them, or you're going to do them in the wrong energy, kind of the Eeyore energy, and it's not going to work.
Yeah. And as employers, you really need to think about that whenever. I always say you never hire for skills, you hire for attitude and behavior and things like that.
Yes.
So ask the right questions so you can find out who you're hiring, because attitude is contagious like poison ivy and can kill a team so quickly.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, we're going to share my screen for you to be able to connect with Kim and get some more insights and information from her and her website. All right, so for those that are just listening in, go grab your paper, pencil real quickly. You should have already had it, but I remind you every time. It is https:// Kimberly's KIMBERLY Lebbing LEBBING, again KIMBERLY LEBBING.com. Her Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram are all her name, Kimberly Lebbing, spelling just as I gave you. She's on YouTube. Just search for Kimberly Lebbing, you'll find her. This screen will be available to you if you watch this on YouTube or my website. In the show notes, you'll also find it on those two sites. So if you would just give us a little bit of information, Kim, about the call to action that you have here.
Oh, sure. So I have a gift. It's called Unlocking Your Authentic Self. It's 3 steps to identify and overcome those hidden limitations in your life and your business, so that you can realize your highest potential. And it's a guidebook. So we talked about how to discover those hidden limitations. You can sit down with pen and paper, download this, and go through the book, and you'll get somewhere if you go through the steps.
Awesome.
So, yes.
All right. So you want to make sure that you go to resources.kimberlylebbing.com/unlock. Again, that's resources.kimberlylebbing.com/unlock. All right, so we have got some great information today about the subconscious and alignment and how can we transform into the great genius, wonderful entrepreneurs that we are meant to be. Thank you so much, Kim, for sharing your great ideas, your insights, and such wonderful tips and tools that we can work on to peel our layers or call you and get you to help unpeel them for us. Please do go to her website at kimberlylebbing.com. And as always, I remind you to remember that life is a journey and it is up to you to enjoy the ride. This is Vicki Nettling signing off.
Thank Thank you for tuning into the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Nettling, where we share impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Remember to visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast.